What's going on YouTube? It's Angus coming at you today and with a very special video. This is one I haven't really done in a while, but what it's going to be focusing on today is basically me taking you through a live interview with one of my awesome clients, Nicky Dillon, who's just finished up an awesome 6 months of coaching with me. She's gone through my IIFYM Mastery online coaching journey, and she's just been through some epic changes that I want to share with you in this interview. So she's someone who had been going at her journey solo for 10 years, going through the process of trial and error, trying to kind of just wing it and hope that what she was doing was right, trial and kind of just like looking at Dr. YouTube, Dr. Google, that sort of stuff, trying to find the answers all on her own and basically not really getting anywhere. So what she was trying to achieve over all this time, we got her towards where she wanted to be in a process of 6 months. She lost over 10 kgs of body fat, got really strong, and achieved some epic tone across her whole body through some of the stuff you're going to be learning about in this interview. So pay close attention. We'll be going through where she was, some of her epic learnings, and some epic cool knowledge bombs I'll be dropping in here and there as you learn about her journey as to what got her sustainably towards where she is now. And yeah, really hope you enjoy. Let's get stuck into the interview. Really excited to have some time with you today, and thanks so much for agreeing to share some insight into your story. And yeah, just being here today, really hope you're excited so we can unpack some of your gains in your progress journey today. So firstly, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Awesome, cool. So mighty Nicky, why don't you tell us, I guess for those tuning in and those that are listening and watching, a bit of an insight into, I guess, how you were feeling, what you were going through, what the struggles were, that sort of stuff beforehand when you were going solo before you and I, crossed paths and started coaching together.
I felt so confused before I came across you. So I guess just trying everything and anything, and only lasting maybe a few days, sometimes even just one day. Yeah, so it was just a constant struggle because I didn't know what was right to wrong, and yeah, confusion.
So
really the biggest thing.
Confusion's the biggest one. So you as well, you're obviously a single mum fighting the good fight, and for a lot of single mums it's particularly hard to prioritize your health. So how are you going with that in terms of balancing that while also trying to improve your relationship with food and getting exercise and stuff like that? Describe the feels and what you're going through with all that to juggle.
Sorry, what do you mean? Before?
In other words, before. So like you were balancing being a single mum, all the demands that come with that, and then trying to build a better relationship with food and exercise. So how was that all going? Well, obviously there wasn't much progress, but like we really want to sort of see, I guess, the stuff that you were going through and how hard it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I never really prioritized my health. I always put it second, because I always made excuses. I'm too busy, I've got to do this with the kids, or I work full time, and then I've got their commitments out of school and in the weekend. So I always made an excuse that I was always too busy, always too tired. And trying to find that time to make time for myself, or make time to make the changes, it just never happened, because I think I never prioritized it. Interesting
one there. Hey, yeah. And in terms of so obviously you mentioned there that there was a lot of stopping and starting, finding something new, trialing it, not lasting very long, and some of those bouts lasting like a day or so, right? So if you think about how long roughly stop and start you were going for, how long was your journey beforehand? Like, was it a couple of years? Was it longer than that? How long do you reckon it was up and down for?
Oh, a long time. Yeah, maybe. Well, probably before I had the girls. So coming up maybe 10 years.
There we go.
Yeah.
And this is obviously a really common scenario for a lot of people, because, well, it's so easy to get stuck in, patterns and just going through the same sort of stuff, stop and starting different diets and that sort of thing, and building some nice familiarity around that. Even though we're not getting results, we can usually still, feel good in that we're making progress because we're trying different things, right? So
with yourself, we've obviously been, like our coaching time has come together for an end. We've been smashing it for just over 6 months. Your changes both physically and mentally and all that sort of stuff have been huge. But what do you think have been like some of the biggest things that you've noticed in terms of change in your personal life, like in you as a whole, in terms of where you are now compared to where you were beforehand?
I'm far more relaxed and I'm a shitload more organised. I'm so organised now. And I always thought I was organised before, which I think I was, but in terms of fitting me in the lifestyle, my health and that lifestyle, I'm yeah, it's good.
That's huge, yeah. And that's awesome, because it's like we all only have the same 24 hours of the day. And naturally, it's like based on our priorities will determine where we see growth in our life. So naturally, you prioritize you and your health and that sort of stuff a heck of a lot more. And obviously, as a result of that, combined with knowledge and support, whatever, this is where we've seen huge mental shifts and all those progress sort of aspects on your behalf. So let's talk about your relationship with food. How do you think it's different now compared to what it was? So touch on sort of like what it was like before, how you used to think and associate to food and what it was like. And then we'll look at how things are now in terms of your relationship with food.
So before, there was always the good food, bad food. Mm-hmm. So for years, I would go through phases of not eating carbs or not even eating fats or sugar and everything like that. So that was huge. I mean, I don't think I would ever get up and eat pancakes or something for breakfast. Do you know what I mean? Like, or even peanut butter toast. So that was what it was like. So I had almost, told myself that I could not have this or that or and that's gone now.
So in terms of how you see food now, obviously there's a lot of awesome food that's being eaten. You see food in a different way. Like what do you think has been like the biggest positive ripple effects of now seeing food in this way compared to good and bad, can't eat that because it's got sugar, like what it used to be?
I don't feel like that anymore ever. I don't get nervous around food. I used to get nervous around food if I thought it wasn't good or it wasn't bad, or if it was good or bad, and that's gone. I just don't get nervous with my choices now, with my choices of food.
And that's because what's essentially changed here is that it was like, cool, before it was like all focused on quality. You associated to the fact that you must eat really high quality and nutrient-dense food all the time in order to be able to stand a chance of losing weight. And now it's sort of been, well, awesome, I know how much my food intake should be, how much calories need to be, that sort of thing. What foods do I want to eat today? And when do I want to eat them to allow me to meet that? So obviously there's a huge gain of flexibility and control here. And no more demonization of stuff, which is awesome because that definitely makes life easier, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and a heck of a lot more enjoyable. So how's your, like, because obviously with, say for example yourself, you've gone through a different range of stuff when it came to exercise and that sort of stuff beforehand, and then what we did with yourself was we took you through some progression with working out at home and then making the leap to, focusing on weight training at the gym. How do you think like this new approach to exercise and how you see training and weightlifting and stuff, how do you think that's benefited you compared to how you were exercising before? But what are you liking most about it now? Because obviously it's there's a lot more joy there and there's a lot more progression there compared to winging it and stuff beforehand.
Yeah, I guess because I don't really know how to answer that. I think because I see more progress, especially with the weight training. I feel better. I feel amazing when I leave the gym. I feel like I've worked hard. My body feels good. I feel a little bit pumped when I work out. And when I leave, I much prefer to go to the gym and lift weights and train at home, definitely. I mean, training at home served me for its time, but yeah, and it's my time. I take the gym as my time as well.
That's it, exactly. Because for a lot of us as well that live, you know what I mean, like really busy lives, and we've got all these sorts of demands and things that are pulling our attention left, right and centre, it's really good to have a place to be able to release as well. And a lot of people turn to like food for something like that, or if they do go to the gym, it's usually like body pump classes and similar things to that. And you know, it's obviously cool, but then as you've learned, when it comes to fat loss and being able to, you know, like give your body a reason to let go of fat, you can't really afford to kind of just be focusing on burning calories anymore. The focus is now on, awesome, how can I lift more weight and get stronger so that I see change and I give my body reason to keep muscle, which is what you've done really, really well with. And like, you've probably seen around you a lot of women seem to think that you know, lifting weights will make you bulky and all this sort of stigma, like myths and stuff. Obviously that hasn't been the case with you. Yeah, you really, really enjoyed it, and that's been good to see. What do you think are your favorite exercises now at the gym?
Bench press. Bench press is my number one favorite.
Yeah.
Well, all of it really, because you get to see the numbers. You get to see the numbers grow, and that's really, really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
to see that progress.
Because it's definitely a battle against the numbers, isn't it? So like, how much did I lift last week? How can I improve on that? And then more overall volume taking place. Well, that's obviously where the magic happens and what you've experienced. So in terms of you where you're at now, obviously we're like roughly like 10 kgs lighter than when we started. Your mental state has changed massively, and you know, like you've seen huge shifts in terms of your relationship with food, and even just how you approach your life as a whole now, given that you love yourself more and prioritize your health so much more. What do you think you've valued most, you know, while working with me? Has it been the fact that, well, you know, I've taken that guesswork away via making programming for you? Has it been having someone to support you and have access to ask questions? Has it been, you know, the accountability and the focus on keeping you accountable to doing the work you don't feel like it? You know, what do you think it's been for you?
To be honest, all of it. I think all of it as a whole has been just everything that I needed. Not one more than the other. It's been everything. It's been the knowledge from you, the group,
Mm-hmm.
the just everything. I can't pick one.
Can't pick one favourite. I want them all. No, that's awesome. That's cool. Because
I feel it has to. It is everything called together. It's not just one thing. You have to learn all of it.
Because it's obviously most relevant. You can probably think of like times when you were sick or when life was really busy, where one of those things made a huge impact more than others, but then as a whole they all serve their place in terms of supporting you to get from A to B. Yeah
that's right. That's right.
And you probably agree as well that like, even with, you know, coaching and stuff like that, it doesn't take away the fact that life still throws curveballs. You know, like shit can still be hard. We can still be stressed and overwhelmed and stuff like that. But you know, this was kind of like the rudder to your ship to help see you through that and be solution focused, so that you can move forward far faster than typical old school you, which probably would have freaked out, fallen off the wagon entirely. You know what I mean? Those sort of feels, right? Which we're all guilty of. So now you're kind of like over here as like a, you know, Super Saiyan Nicky, who's absolutely awesome and loving it. If you could kind of give one piece of advice to Nicky years back, who was going solo and had no idea, what one piece of advice would you give to Nicky, do you think? Get
a coach.
Mm-hmm. Why? So think about over here is younger Nicky who has no clue. Impart some insight into her.
Yep. Get a coach and learn, and just go from there. And you just got to start. Yeah,
because there's never a like, I'm sure younger, less smarter Nicky probably would be thinking, oh yeah, there's probably like the perfect time it's going to come, or like all these things are going to align, and then I'll get serious about my goals, or all I got to do is just hit up Dr. YouTube and Dr. Google and try and find the answers myself some more, I'll be right. So this is obviously where education comes in, isn't it? As you've learned, education is power. Yeah. And What do you think has been, because obviously with you as well, one of the things that I got you to do was to work through specific education content videos while also doing the work in terms of, well, learning flexible dieting, weightlifting, all that sort of stuff. What did you value from the different and the wide range of different stuff that was taught through the content video? Share in that regard. Like, how did they specifically help you? Why did you find them valuable?
Because I feel I could relate to every single one of them. You broke it down so well, and you know, they just felt real. There was no bullshit in there. It was, all the content was, I don't know. I'm really shit at answering questions.
That's cool. It shows that this isn't rehearsed and that we're just having a good time. But yeah, obviously it's raw and it's relevant, because a lot of this stuff that I share and coach people in is stuff that I've been through myself personally, and it's stuff that I know that I wish if younger, clueless Angus or whatever had access to, would make my journey so much more easier. So therefore, that's why it's imparted into yourself and other clients that I work with. So one last question I guess I want to ask you, Nicky, is like, for those who have listened to this and may not have experienced coaching in their life before and have been doing it solo, why would you recommend that they get a coach? Or if they're relating to some of the stuff that we've spoken about today, why would you recommend Boss Fitness and getting coaching from myself?
Because you will learn that. I couldn't have done it without working with you, and get a coach, because it's just so much easier to do it with someone who knows what they're talking about, rather than doing it alone. It's too hard. You've got to get the coach.
Because not only does it obviously, because naturally for you it wasn't something you could easily accommodate because you've got bills and all this sort of stuff like the rest of us. Naturally it was an investment for you. Why are you so thankful that you did when you did, rather than put this off till later and potentially not even join at all?
Because I had come to a point where I had to make changes, not just for me but for my girls as well, and that was my biggest motivator really. And I was just tired. I was tired of going through that mental battle every week. Okay, that didn't work. I'm going to try this. Okay, this has come up on Facebook. That looks good. I might give that a go. It was exhausting. Really, really exhausting. So that's, yeah, I guess you come to a point where you have enough, and that's it. You have to make a change. And that's what I did.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing. Yeah, it's really powerful, because it's like, for a lot of us, we unfortunately don't get serious about things until we're in such a place of pain, or things have turned so shit that we're like, right, let's now do something about this. And even when that happens, for a lot of us, we then try and do things solo and try and just trial and error, because, well, we might think that we're weak for reaching out for help, or that we have all the answers, and that we're a bad person if we get help externally. So power to you, my friend. You've been amazingly awesome through this process, and now obviously with what you're well equipped with comes the power of being able to do it solo until you're ready to shift into maintaining, and then even get stronger and move forward since. Because as you've experienced here, you've crafted a new lifestyle for yourself. This isn't something that you've just smashed nuts now I'm going to get back to what I was doing before and struggle with food again and stop and start with shit all the time. You've developed an awesome new way to see food, an effective way to train, and to be able to provide purpose and progression with your exercise. And you are now part of the 10% of the population really, who now know how to control how they look, how they feel, and how they function through their relationship with food and exercise. So big claps to you, my friend. Thanks so much for coming on, and all the best with your journey ahead. Okay, see you later.
Bye.
And boom, there we go. Really hope you enjoyed that interview with myself and the lovely Nicky. As you would have seen, just holy shit, what an awesome journey. And it's through the power of coaching that we were able to take her from A to B. And as you would have seen, she experienced time travel. What she was trying to achieve over the course of 10 years, we achieved in 6 months through her just learning how to eat and train smarter. Now, I'm not sure where you're at in your sort of scenario, whether you're someone who has just been trying to eat clean and just wing it with cardio and stuff, or wing it in the gym, to try and get results. Maybe you are crushing it. Maybe you're someone who is at the start of their journey, doesn't really know how to move forward, just whatever it may be. But I really encourage you that if you can relate to any components of what Nicky had gone through and her story, and as you would have seen, like, it was through coaching that was what transformed her life and allowed her to achieve what it was that she was trying to achieve for so long, really. I'd really encourage you to click below, just in the description, you'll see a link to be able to get amongst a Dream Body Breakthrough call with me. And what we'll do there is we'll just connect one-to-one. I want to connect with you, hear your story, see what's holding you back, and try to identify why you're not getting the results that you want, and kind of strategize and build together the best possible plan that would suit you to get from A to B. Because understand that Nicky and many, many, many other women before her, I've coached personally through the stuff that you learned in this video, combining the power of flexible dieting, strength training, epic mindset and personal development work to help you just to become the best version of yourself and learn how to stay that way forever, not kind of drop some weight quickly and then go back towards what you were doing and then all the weight comes back and you're back at square one again. So please, if you want to check that out, just scroll below, link in the description. You can get amongst a call with me, entirely free. It's not just me to sell you into your coaching and kind of just milk you, but really I just want to help you, for those of you who are keen to take your life and your results to the next level. Other than that, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you're a returning subscriber, drop me a comment below or a like. Would love to engage with you some more. And hey, if you're new to the channel, make sure you press subscribe. I'd love to have you hanging around and checking out more videos in the future. Or you can scroll back and see some other sick videos, all sorts of eating challenges and fitness videos and workout footage and content and stuff. You'll absolutely love being here. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time, YouTube.